Okay guys, so in this video we are going to talk about where to use Xpath in the element identification, like in our UI automation tests. Where are we required to use Xpath for the element identification purpose? Okay, let's take one example here. So I have got one web table here. The web table which contains the information about the companies. So this is the company column. First column is company, second is contact person name, and third is the country which that company belongs to. Now say I want to fetch the name of the country for this island trading company. Okay, so the information which I have is this, the name of the company. But what I want to fetch, I want to fetch its country, isn't it? So the name I have, and based on that name of the company, I want to fetch the country name which it belongs to. Now let's do inspect and let's understand the design of the table. Now let's understand the table structure first. So this is a table tag which defines the web table. So every table has got a T body inside which the content gets stored. T body. This is the TR is the row. You can see as I am hovering on these TRs. You can observe on the left hand side in this table the TRs are getting highlighted with the blue. You can see this is the first TR, second TR, third, fourth, fifth. So TR is nothing but row, and the first TR, if you open it, you will see TH. TH is table heading. So the first TR contains TH, table heading. So this is the heading of the first column, second column, third column, right? This is a TR from where the data actually from that web table starts. TR. Now if you open a TR, you will see TDs. So TD is column. So TD1, TD2, TD3. These are the columns and this is the row, right? Now if you come down, TR, this is the TR where our where our required record is present. Now what I want to know a country of the company island trading. Now usually what people do is, I'll show you what they do. So let's start our Xpath from table. So the table is the main container element. So Xpath should always start with the container element of the element where you want to go to. So you should not directly saying TD directly. You can, but it would be very difficult to debug them. So it should always start with the container element, the close container element of the element where we want to go to. So table. Now table, and where we want to go to this row. Okay, so what is the relationship between the row and table? You can see table's child is T body and T body's children are these TRs. Okay, so what is the relationship between TR and table now? It's child's child. So how can we represent child's child? We can represent with the help of relationship called descendant. So how can we mention the descendant? Slash TR, right? So slash is for descendant relationship. TR, so you can see here how many rows we got? 7. So there are 7 elements with the name TR which are descendant of table. So TR1, TR2, you can see the TRs, corresponding TRs are being highlighted. TR3, TR4 and TR5. So our respective element is present here in the fifth TR. So we can come here and then let's move on TR5 and then which TD, like what we have as an information with us, the name of the company. So where is that name of the company? Island Trading, over here, right? So it's a text of TD. And what is the relationship between TR and TDs? You can see these three TDs are childs of this TR. You can close the TR and you can see all of them three are getting disappeared or getting closed as well. So the element, once you close the parent element, all the elements inside it, if they are getting closed, it does mean that they fall in the child hierarchy of the one you are closing, right? So once you close it, all the three are getting closed. It does indeed mean that these three are inside the child hierarchy of this TR, right? Now slash, so slash is for representing the child hierarchy, slash TD, name of the element TD. So you can see there are three elements we have got. The first, you can click here to move to the next, move to the next. Now if I say now I want to go to the, you know, this island trading TR I am on now. Now what I want the name of the country TD. So what is the index of it? 3, right? So from fifth row, third column, give me the fifth row first and then give me the third column from it. So this is what usually people do when you know they have to retrieve the data, say a particular data, say like this island trading company is UK. So what they do is they just see where that, in which TR that particular record is present, and then they mention the index and that way. But it's not a good practice. Why? Because if this is a dynamic table and if any record gets inserted between, so currently this one first TR is for this TH for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right now it's fifth TR. But if this is a dynamic web table and some other record gets added in between this Ernst and island trading, then that new element would be the fifth TR and this will shift to the sixth one. And then your Xpath query where you have mentioned this will get failed, isn't it? It will fail here. Also, if the TD showing the country name is the third one, that's why it is fine. But if it shifts its places, then, or if it gets shifted to some like one more column gets added or something, then it would be problematic, right? So we should not write any positional XPaths like this by mentioning the indexes. It's not a good practice. So what is good practice? So good practice is, what are we interested in? We are interested in knowing the country name of company Island Trading. So Island Trading is very important information for us. So now let's jump to the TD, or let's jump to the element having that information present. So where is that information present? The name of the company is inside this TD. Okay, so let's modify this XPath. So I will jump to the TD having Island Trading information present. So we have to just check where that information is present, either as a text of the element or as an element attribute. So if it is, let's say there is one attribute set, for example value, and to this value attribute this name is set, Island Trading. So if this is the case, then you can write an XPath. Let's understand how to write an XPath here. So I will start my XPath from the container element, that is table. Now what is the relationship? I don't want to take this TR in between because I don't care like inside which TR it is present, or what is information is what is important information for me is the name of the company, Island Trading, and it is present in this value, say, and where it is present in this TD as a value attributes value. So I'll say what is the relationship between this TD and the table. It's child. You can see child is T body, its child is TR, and TR's child is that TD. So it's a descendant, isn't it? So I'll say / TD. What kind of a TD I want? So I have got rid of that TR of 5. Okay, I have got rid of that. TD. What kind of a TD? Where the value is so and so, the attribute. So the attribute name is value to which this is set. So I will say in the predicate, give me such a TD @ if you want to mention the attribute in the predicate, it should be preceded with @ sign, the name of the attribute, which is value in our case, and value of that attribute, which is Island Trading. So you have reached to that element. Now whether it is present in the 5th TR, 2nd TR, 10th TR, 100th TR, doesn't matter. So we got rid of that number of TR. If it is a static table, then absolutely fine. TR5, that particular row will always be on the 5th, that record would always be the 5th one in the table. Then it's fine if you write it like //table //tr of 5 and all. But in dynamic web tables, we should not use the indexes, right? Indexing may change as it is a dynamic web table, right? So TD @ value Island Trading. Now what I want? I want the name of the country, isn't it? I don't want the TD showing us the name or having the name of the company. That is the information which we have. So using which we reach to this element. Now what is the thing we want? We want the name of the country that company belongs to. So that name is present here in this TD, and the name of the country is over here, name of the company is over here. Now what is the relationship between the element where I have reached to and where I want to reach to? So I want to reach to here, isn't it? I want to reach here to this TD showing us or containing the name of the country. So here I have to make use of the relational identification technique. We had seen this in one of our sessions. Relational identification means where you are using the relationship between the elements to identify those. So what is the relationship between these? So as we discussed, these 3 TDs are inside the TR, hence TR becomes parents of these 3, and as these 3 having the same parent, they become siblings of each other, right? So these 3 are siblings of each other. So what kind of sibling is this TD of this company TD? So this country TD and company TD. So this company TD's country TD is following sibling. Why? Because it falls after it, right? So this TD is falling first or falling prior to the company's TD. So this is following sibling. Following sibling is the sibling which falls after the specific one. So how to mention that relationship in the Xpath? /following -sibling : and name of an element, TD. So this is, what does this call? This is called as Xpath access. So Xpath access has different tokens to represent the relationships. I will show you the Xpath access. In this tutorial, we are going to see few more examples also on Xpath access, but this is one of, you can see here. For every kind of a relationship, there is a Xpath access. Ancestor for defining the ancestor relationship. child for defining child relationship, descendant, following sibling, as well as preceding sibling. So we right now use this following sibling in our example here. So following sibling, following dash sibling. So it highlighted the exactly next following sibling. So both these two are following siblings of this TD with the name TD, isn't it? So the name of these two are TD and they are both following siblings of this TD. But where I want to go, I don't want the first following sibling, I want the second following sibling, isn't it? Which shows me the country name. So I will use index here. So the first following sibling is this one. So exactly next following sibling, exactly next is the first index, and then the second one is the second index, right? So if you write this query, even if the TD, even if the TR changes, I mean the 5th gets to the 6th and 6th let's say goes to the 10th, it doesn't matter what number of record is this in your table, still you would be able to find it. So don't use, in case of dynamic web tables, don't use the indexes. Indexes get changed, right? So if you are sure that always the country is always going to be the last column in the table, if it is as per the design of the table, it may happen that any number of columns may get added, but country is always going to be the last one, because the country, like when a reader will read the information about the company, you will first read, say what is the name, who is the CEO, how many number of employees are there, and all that information, and at the end the country it belongs to. So if it is the case that country is always going to be the last column, so you can also get rid of the indexing here. You can say last. So even if any number of columns get added, any number of rows get added into your dynamic web table, still you would be able to locate your element. This is the correct export. So don't use this indexes. Okay, so first we identified the table. Okay, the nearest container. Your export should always start with the nearest container. So table we reach to. Then we don't want to go for the TR, as we don't want to get into indexing the TR. Wherever it is present, okay, in whatever TR it is, okay, wherever the that particular element is present. So just we represented the relationship. So this relationship I can also represent with the help of Xpath access. Descendant. So / and descendant is same. So name of the relationship, : and then the tag name. This is the syntax of Xpath access. Okay, so I'm saying first look at the table on the page, then go to the child hierarchy, not only immediate one but also to the grandchild hierarchy, and look for TD. Which TD? Such a TD having value attribute. So attribute, if you want to mention the attribute, you can write the predicates based on the indexing, as well as you can write the predicates based on the attributes. So attribute name should be prior to @ so @ attribute name equal to value of that attribute. So it will search for such a TD having this value attribute set to island trading. So we reached here. Now where we want to go, we want to actually find an element country. Okay, so what is the relationship now between the element where we have reached to with the help of our information, whatever we have. So we have as an information the name of the company, so that will help us to reach up until this point, but we want to reach to the element showing us the country name. So where is that located with respect to this? So what is the relationship? So the relationship of this TD showing the company name and this TD showing the country name, they are siblings of each other as they are falling in the same parent. Siblings. What kind of siblings? Following or preceding? Very important. So if you see this TD, Helen Bennett. So for this TD, the company TD is the preceding sibling and this country TD is following sibling. And for this company TD, both these two are following siblings. So following sibling with index 1 is this and following sibling with index 2 is this. So we can mention indexing as well for getting to that particular TD, or if the design is such that of your web table where country name is always going to be the last one, you can just check it with the designer that are we going to, like if we change the say design of, or I mean if we add few more columns into this table, say, so is it going to be the case that country is always going to be the last one? So if they say yes, the country is going to be always the last one, the new additions of the columns would only be between the country and the company name, right? So company name is always going to be the first and country is always going to be the last. If they say so, then you can say following dash sibling TD, and instead of mentioning the index, the hard coded index 1 2 3 4 like that, you can say last. So it will give you the correct element. This is how the Xpath should be written. So relationships are mentioned here with the help of Xpath access. Predicates are mentioned with the help of attributes. Again, the following dash sibling is the Xpath access, and this is the dynamic Xpath. So this is a very good example where a relative Xpath is used, as it is starting with // We are not starting our Xpath from root, hence it's not absolute but relative. The Xpath accesses are used. Predicates with the help of attributes is used. Again Xpath access, and here with the help of function we are making this Xpath a dynamic Xpath as well. So pretty much everything is used in this particular example of Xpaths.